the homecoming. Stevenage, you're looking forward to it. You're back at the top of the bill, where you should be, really, and it's been a little while waiting, but you're back at the top of the bill.
Yeah, I mean, it's been for the last 18 months has been a big roller coaster, really, for me in boxing. Brilliant ups, extremely lows. Ups where you think, it can only get a little bit higher, and lows where you think, I can't dig my way out. But I think that's, you've got to have a lot of trust in God and in yourself and self-belief and the people around you. I'm lucky enough, obviously, to have MTK around me, my management, and obviously Frank Ryan and BT Sport. And to provide an homecoming in the Stevenage football ground. You might get a lot of people going, oh, he's bigger than that, but personally myself, Stevenage football ground holds like 10 or 11,000, and if I can sell that out there, homecoming, that's really like my homecoming since I've been pro. It's in my next town over, it's 7 miles away. It'd be like a little mini dream come true, really. Probably be up there with the most exciting venues I've boxed at.
And obviously, you came back at the Manchester Arena on the Warrington-Frampton card, but it was, it wasn't the comeback fight, was it? This is, you obviously see yourself as a headliner. You've been a world champion, so you want to be at the top of the card, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, that fight for me, it was more or less a focus to be in the gym for. I focused just to visit the gym once a day that day, and I promised a little young lad, Denver, that he could walk out on me, and that really gave me the push to do that fight. I mean, because there was no incentive to do that. There was no motive. There was no meaning to have that fight. The only meaning it meant was that, for the 7-8 weeks I trained, I was in Sheffield in the gym twice a day. That was the only incentive for that. So, I'm happy I did it. For one, for the kid. For two, for, just to get 4 rounds under the belt. Just to say, look, I was in the ring 2018. But I think 2019 for me now is sink or swim. It's one of them that I have to really, really excel, or it's not gonna happen. So I need to. That's the reason why I moved to 12 stone, to open up another door. We've got some brilliant fighters at 12 stone in the UK. And if that don't work out, then I'm going to try to put myself in a position at super middleweight that I can drop down in a mandatory again for a big title at middleweight. So I'm just trying to give myself, I've got maybe 2 years left in the sport. I'm trying to maximise my opportunities the best way I can.
So when you had that fight in Manchester, did you leave the ring and feel like, I'm back? Or did it not really, you didn't get that satisfaction?
No. Even when I was in the ring, it was like, I was thinking about probably what I was going to have for dinner afterwards. It wasn't that, there's no better feeling than going in a fight with everything, all the chips in. There's no better feeling, because you can either deal with that pressure or you can't. When everything's on the line, where you think, right, this is roll the dice here. It's, my numbers are coming in or they're not. And there's no better feeling than that, because even though at the time you're nervous and you're to an extent scared and you're walking in that ring, but when you've got that fear factor in you, you're going to perform. When you got them sort of fights, like, no disrespect to Adam, who's been in with some, good fighters, Carl Froch, George Groves, and, all of them, but it wasn't really a get-me-out fight. Where I come from in Canada, probably the best away performance ever by a British fighter, and then come back to that. Most of it that year was down to myself. So, it's pointless squilling over borrowed time. It's gone, finished, put behind me. And, I need to make 2019 work for me, because, I can't leave no stone unturned. I'm with Ben Davison now, working away this camp. I've put a lot of trust in him, same as he has with me. Worked with him for a long time. We're working on some different things. I just can't afford to have another 2018, most definitely not, because, it could be career threatening.
So Ben obviously is kind of shot. You had him years back for one of your fights, but he's kind of shot to fame with the Tyson Fury comeback thing, and it's interesting because when Tyson was coming back, he said that training camp he went on with you in Marbella, not even a training camp, just did a bit of training with you in Marbella. That kind of got him on the way back up, didn't it? And do you kind of feel like a little bit with being with Ben and Tyson again, it's sort of a role reversed and it's bringing you on the way back up?
Listen, what goes around comes around. I mean, Tyson's been my mate for years. And, you know, me and Tyson go back when I was driving the Mondeo and he was driving a Ford Focus years ago when we was, you know, teenagers and on the England squad and sharing a room together. And, you know, we go back a long, long way. And, you know, to see what he did in Germany, then to see him afterwards was a bit. It felt a little bit soul destroying because if it can happen to him, it can happen to anybody, and it very nearly did happen to me. You know, so you know you learn by people's mistakes, if you want to call it, and you know Tyson, he showed a lot of heart and determination. Not let's forget about the Wilder fight, but just to get back fighting fit. Because a lot of people thought he wasn't going to do it, but when I brought him to Spain, I knew that he was going to do it. You know, there were times when I thought, it's tough, but I knew he was. And, you know, we make a good combination, me, him and Ben, make a good team. You know, we've got three spirits there. Put them together, it's a good combination. Not many in the world like it. And you were saying you feel like you've only got maybe a couple of years left. You had that world title for what, 2.5, 3 years in the end, but you never had. You'd think for a British champion, you'd think you'd have that proper marquee event. Do you know what I mean? But you never got the chance to get that. And do you feel like that's in the next 2 years, stadium fight, hometown thing, brilliant? But do you feel like you really won't be able to sort of live with it if you don't get that proper top of the bill? I'm a big believer. Look, when I first set out in boxing, would I have signed up to what I've done today? Yes. You know, in boxing, you can't get too greedy. And I always remember turning pro and thinking, well, I'll be happy to earn that amount. I'll be happy to win that. And I've done all that plus. So I'm not a greedy person. I mean, I know the best of me is yet to come. I know that. I know that in my own body, my own soul. I can put my hand on my heart and say that the best of me is yet to come. And the only thing is with someone like me is that it's very hard for a southpaw to get a slick southpaw who moves, you know, and hits and don't get hit. It's very hard to get a big fight in the States because they want to see blood, sweat, tears, and smashed face. And I'm not in it for that. You know, I'm in it for the science of it. I'm in it for the boxing side of it. I'm in it to show my skills. I'm in it to, you know, like Muhammad Ali. He first of all, he brought boxing to. He made boxing what it was. He made it boxing, not fighting, not scrapping. And then, you know, you got the others came through and started to copy him and go. So he set the benchmark. Then you got Floyd Mayweather, and you know, you look at them. They're the sort of fighters I look up to because after boxing, they've got their brain intact to string a sentence together. And you know, it's pointless achieving so much and earning so much money. And art of boxing, you can't talk to your kids, put a bit of sense in your kids, because boxing's a dangerous sport. So, you know, it's hard for a fighter, unless you're a Floyd Mayweather and a big household name and a great like Muhammad Ali was, to get them big fights. But, you know, if they come, they come. The only thing I can do is keep on winning. If I keep on winning and one of them big ones is in my way and I'm mandatory or so, then so be it, we'll get it on. But I'm sure that, you know, this year is the year that I can make it happen.
Do you think that's a part of why you jumped up to super middleweight as well? Because there's a lot of doors shut in your face, I guess, at middleweight. Because there's your Canelos and Golovkins and stuff who are, like you say, you know, they go in for a big old scrap, don't they? And then super middle, it's a different set of fighters.
I mean, people say, oh, he's boxing at super middleweight because he can't make middleweight. I can make middleweight now. And, you know, the people say, though, he's not a super middleweight. I come down from a good weight coming down to make super middle, and I'm the same at middle. I think that, yeah, I'm a bigger middleweight than what I am super middleweight, but I'm not a small super middleweight. I'm very broad, and on the night, you know, people will see how I fell out. But I'm just opening a new door for myself at super middleweight. You know, it's another avenue that I'm giving myself because, you know, 2 years is not long. 2 years is not long. And I always said, you know, when I'm 31, then I'll consider it saying see you later to the sport, because 31 for me, 29 to 31 now is your prime. I'm not going to get any better from 29 now to 31. This is going to be my peak years. Them 2 years, I've got a window and I have to make it count. So, you know, if I can get another 8 fights in, I'll be over the moon.
So you want to fight regular over those 2 years? You want to fight
100%, yeah. I want 3 fights this year. 3 fights this year, and you know, I've still got another 18 months then to get the other few in.
So with Fus, when you found out that fight, it is, like you say, he hasn't got a big status. You know, bit 2019 of me to say, but like you look him up on social media, you can't find him really, you can't see much about him. Does that make him almost harder to research and harder to know just like what you're dealing with when it comes in?
Most definitely. Look, you know, everybody comes from somewhere, and everyone, you know, he's obviously been doing his job under wraps, and they're always the ones you have to watch. You know, something like Sergey Kovalev, when he came over and boxed Nathan Cleverly, people was, Cleverly's going to win, and it's assumed he was going to win, and because they didn't really know this man. And they're all the ones that can cause an upset and, you know, can upset the apple cart. You know, people, it's a good comeback fight, he's at his own town, and if you look at it like that, then it's going to be an hard night of anyone. I'm looking at him that he's #1 with the super middleweight WBO organisation for a reason. He's #1 because he's knocked who he's been put in front of him out. You know, there's only a little bit of footage of him, and you know who he's boxing is not particularly great, but he's still doing his job on him. So you know you've got to take it off to him, and I have to go about my business as a professional and deal with him accordingly.
Now you're in Ben's camp as well. Ben, we've seen before, is obsessive over boxing. Do you have? Obviously, you've got full faith, otherwise you wouldn't have changed things, but like how good do you see his kind of researching skills and looking into these fighters and tuning you up for them?
He gets on my nerves. You go to the gym, you come home, he's watching boxing. You go in his room, he's watching boxing. You look we're getting food, he's watching boxing on his phone. He is obsessed with boxing. And I think that's a good it's a good thing to have, you know, for his age. I always said, from Ben. You know, I remember working with Ben since 2000 and started doing bits 2011, 12, bits of pads and, you know, working on a couple of things. And, you know, if I've got a fight, I'll always ring him and, what do you reckon? Because I know some people is at boxing. Yeah, some people is just not got it. They can see it. Like, sometimes I've sparred and I can see everything I want to do, but nothing's there. I'm thinking I could hit you with a jab now, I could hit you with whatever I want to do, and I try to do it, but it's not there. You know, I'm reading it like a book. You know, it's sort of like him. He can read it so well, but he can't actually do it. But what he can do is translate that over to a fighter. And that's a very special talent in itself. There's only a few what can do that. And, you know, I knew from day one that he was very, very good at his job, because whatever he put his mind to, he would do him. And he sacrificed everything. He sacrificed football. He sacrificed his own boxing career as such. I remember him, he used to be getting used as a sparring partner just to come and learn off another trainers. Like, he'd be sparring like English champions. He used to get battered as well, yeah? But looking back on it now, that he can say, well, I know what it's like to take a beating. I know what it's like to hold my own. And, you know, me and him's got a good working relationship. And, you know, even when I boxed in Scotland, he took over a job that was sort of like put to his hands a little bit. And it was my fault. No one's else's. I boxed how I did. And it's probably the best thing that ever happened to me, because I went away, regrouped, and said, like, brushed myself down and said, right, let's take this seriously. Because I was world champion, and to be honest, I didn't even take it seriously, you know. And that's why I know there's much more to come. But with Ben, I think that it's enjoyable, and you have to enjoy this sport. It's a lonely sport as it is, you know. I don't see none of my children. You know, I've got 4 children. When I'm in camp, I don't see any of them. You really, really got to make this time count. And I've learnt that with age, you know, maturing a little bit. And Ben's very mature for his age, and you know, he won't take no fluffing about. It is what it is, and he knows he visualised what we've got to do, a game plan or training system, and we stick to it. I mean, look, it showed with Tyson. Everyone thinking that his judgment were bad, but he's got a good judgment, And if he thought Tyson had no chance against Wilder, then he wouldn't have been in there.
Is he good at dishing out a telling off as well?
Not really, because we just smack him up the lips. You know what I mean? We smack him and make him get in his room, and we put him there all day. You know, he's not allowed to move. If me and Tyson ban him from coming out of his room, we put a ban on PlayStation and Netflix as well. No, he's. Do you know what? He don't need to, because we give him what he gives us. You know, we give him 100%, he gives us 100%. So, and I think that's what you got to have. You have to have someone giving you 100%. Because I'm one of these fighters that, if I can't get 100%, I'm not one of these. I need someone around me, surrounding me, 100%, giving their devoted time to me to get me into shape and get me fit and get me where I need to be in my head right. You know, that's just how I am. And he gives that, so we give it back. Is
that part of so much of what it is that the respect and the friendship makes it easier to work harder for him? Because he's got Tyson's discipline, right? He's got. I don't even think it's the friendship. I think it's just that, you know, you don't mix friendship with business, and I think that in this sport you can't, because, for one, you know, boxing's a very selfish sport, very selfish, and you have to do what's best for you. And with Ben, it's more like, you know, you see him giving his time, and, you know, you said it earlier on, he's been up here for as long as you can remember. Ben's been up here now for probably about a year and a half, and he hasn't gone home. But he's making them sacrifices. So, you know, you have to give 100%. You know, and he's not only a trainer. He's on, you know, he's liaising with the dietitian, with the strength and conditioner trainer, and, you know, his job just don't end in the gym. So I've got to take my hat off and respect what he does, because he does a lot. And part of that is, obviously, I'm not going to get you to slag off Dom and none of that. Like, it was all fairly amicable in the end there, was it? You just moved over because Ben's the right for you? No, I mean, me and Dom, you know, we get on, we chat still, and, you know, we had a brilliant working relationship, but I just feel I needed a change up from my own self. Like, I was getting a little bit stale in myself. I'm a gypsy, traveller, I've got to move around, don't I? You know? It's one of them that, you know, he's a great trainer, done brilliant for my career, probably the best performance of it, and, well, was the best performance of it, and, you know, I rate him one of the best trainers in the country, you know, but there's times where you have to think about yourself a little bit and think, right, you know, I had a terrible 2018, which was, you know, nobody's fault, and, you know, I had to just start fresh, just a new everything. You're going to miss living in the Galapad? Miss living in the Galapad, yeah. I mean, listen, well, I had some good times there. It was good, you know, but it was serious. But you learn so much. I learned so much there as well. So, you know, you don't just go and not forget about it. You think, right, brilliant, I learned that. I remember, I did that with Dom, or I did that, you know, I did that before with Adam Booth or Ben, or, you know, it's one of them. So, put it this way, if I'd have divorced my trainers if they was wives, I'd be broke by now. Do you remember a specific point you spoke to yourself, said, right, I'm going to whip it into shape now, this is it? 100%. Out of Scotland, I said to my own self, listen, Billy Joe, that was a bum's performance. You know, it was one of them moments that every boxer will tell you they get them, where you read it in a fight and you're looking at it, and I don't want to blow my own trumpet, but in a fight I'm looking at stuff and I put myself in positions because I know what they're going to throw in. I'm waiting for a shot to come and I think I'm going to miss it, bam, and getting it, and I'm thinking, all right, that wasn't supposed to happen, let's try it again. And nothing worked, nothing. But then, you know, I look at it and it was so negative. I was looking at it and thinking that were rubbish. But then, you know, you've got to step back and look at the bigger picture, look at it all and think, all right, it was what it was. You can't get that back. But you're still world champion. You still won on that night. So that separates the men from the boys. That separates you, something a little bit different from somebody else. So go and eat right, go and diet right, and then train right, then come back and see how you feel. And I did. You know, and it went on, Willie Monroe, David Lemieux, and I was on a bit of a roll, really. I just needed that breakthrough fight then. After the David Lemieux fight, I needed that phone to ring and saying, right, you've got Golovkin or Canelo, Danny Jacobs. Not because of the money, park the money up.
I'm not worried about that. Forget about that. You know, everybody can go, whether you work stacking shelves, whether you work, you know, whether you work on a market stall, whether you work McDonald's, whether you work as a footballer, professional boxer, money's not everything. Park that up for a second. But when you want to show what you've got, and you can't really get that break, it knocks you back a bit. Really, I should have given myself a clip round here and said, right, no problem, let's keep busy, let's just keep going and let it come. But it didn't. So you can't go back now. So I'm here today. I'm going to deal with my next opponent accordingly and professionally, and hopefully move on from there. You've got Callum Smith. You know, you've got some big names here in England at super middleweight, and I'm looking forward to getting them on this year.
And nice to be able to look into the future like that, because after the whole Boston fight didn't happen, was there a point you thought, you know, because some of that, obviously there was, you know, little self-inflicted issues. Then there was the nasal spray thing. Then there was the license thing. Some your fault, some not, completely out of your hands. There must have been a point there where you must have thought, is there a future for me in boxing, right? Or was it always you thought you were going to get back? Or was there some dark times where you thought it was over?
See, what it is with me, if I knew that I'll give everything I had and everyone's seen the best of me, it would have been easier for me to say, right, Billy Joe, you've earned a few quid. You've been Southern area, British, Commonwealth, European, world. You've done that. You're unbeaten. Go and chill out now. Go on, you know, you're 29. Chill out. Go and do what you got to do. If I thought the best of me had been seen. But it's very hard to walk away in something that you've grown up doing all your life and knowing that, you know, I haven't showed the best. It's like, you know, somebody with a gambling addiction. You've seen when they got their last 100 quid or so and they're thinking, they go to walk out the door, then they're going to go back. And in the end, it just goes on. It's just how it is with me. I'm thinking, I was walking out that door, walking back, and I was thinking, you haven't showed the best. And in life, it's, you know, where I've been brought up from. You know, you can't, people, you don't feel sorry for yourself. You think, right, what's happened, move on, get on with it. Put it behind you, it's the past. I mean, you know, don't get me wrong, it's set you back, but it's the past. Put it behind you, move on, and show what you can do. And that's what I'm doing this year. I mean, we've got BT behind us now. You know, it's good that they're in boxing, so I'm sure that, you know, if one of these big fights can be made on a pay-per-view platform, they're there to back it. So, you know, I'm in a good position. Obviously, MTK, Frank Warren. So I've got some good people around me, Ben Davison. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm very, very excited.
So let's look forward, and then let's look. So you say you reckon you've got 8 fights left, 2 years. Give me the dream fights. Give me, obviously you never overlook the next one. I know that, no, but listen, if you do.
it's one of them. The dream fights is like saying I want my dream Euro Millions to come in tonight. It's just that I just look at it that I want what's fair. I don't want the dream fights. I think that if I prove myself at super middleweight, give me a big fight. If not, I'll drop back down. If I become world champion, which I know I will at super middleweight, I know I'll become world champion. Whether that's beating Ramirez or whatever that may be, I will be world champion at super middleweight. Then, you know, if there's no other big fights for me at super middleweight, then I'll drop that down. When I've got that title, and I'll be mandatory for whoever has got the middleweight title. And but I want Andrade. He's the one that I want. And, you know, people say Eddie Hearn's doing these silly interviews that he offered Andrade, he done this. He put it into a proposal, but listen, I will be bent over by nobody. You know, I'm one of these. I don't need. I'm in boxing because I love the sport. I'm not in it because I need money. I'm not in it because I'm going to beg to anyone. I'm in it because I want to show and give the fans my full potential, what I've got. Then let them look at me after my career and go, well, we didn't give him enough credit. That's what we're missing now. He was that good. You know, so I want to show the best of me. And I will be doing that by beating some big names. But I'm not done at middleweight yet. I've got to go back down to middleweight. That's my my last goal.
That Andrade one, is it more frustrating because do you feel like it would have been an easy night for you? Do you think you would have dazzled?
Listen, I'm not saying it's going to be an easy night, but I know that Andrade is not good enough to beat me. I know that. He knows that. you know, I got Twitter messages from him. Oh, you know, he was happy, like, good luck with his career, good luck with that move, and you can just tell he knew. But you know, there was big talk at him. There was big talk about him, and you know, his last couple of fights. And I know what I do to Andrade, but the only reason why I want to go back to him because I was never beaten in the ring as a world champion. I was robbed. I was robbed at it. So I want to go back and prove myself, and I will. But I've got business to do at this weight, at super middle, to put myself in a position where I can go back and go, well, look, boys, be fair with me now. Let's go. You know, I'm sure Frank Warren and MTK can make that happen.
So forget the dream fights, forget the dream fighters. There must be some dream venues you want to tick off as well. You said it yourself, you like travelling around. There must be a couple of dream venues you want to tick off.
Do you know what? And, you know, you see all these Wembley Stadium fights, and they are good. They make the hairs on your neck stand up. But do you know what I really, really love? I love York Hall. I love York Hall. Like, I'll travel to York Hall to watch any show. I just love York Hall. But, you know, the dream venue for me would be in Vegas against, you know, a big name, a good name, Golovkin or Jacobs or Canelo.
And obviously you're going out to Vegas for Tyson's fight. First time there.
I'm going to have to take out an income support loan, I think, to get out there with, you know, because I think that I could come back there with no cash in the pockets, Vegas. A very, very dangerous combination, me and Las Vegas.
A lot of fighters say they don't want to go there until they fight there. Is that not the same? You're just waiting for the first opportunity.
No. I've always wanted to go to Vegas. Funny enough, I've always wanted to go. So, you know, going there to support my good mate, to watch him do the job. You know, that's good enough for me. Even though that one day I'll be looking and, you know, everything happens for a reason. It's nice just to go there and look at the surrounding and get familiar with it, because one day I think that I'll be there.
And how long are we talking? We're saying, what, 1 year from today, you and Tyson, your good mate, on top of the world, title holders?
We will be title holders 100%. We will be, you know, he's linear heavyweight champion of the world. I will be super middleweight champion of the world, 2-time world champion. So that's my first goal.
And then you're going to go and get the Ford Mondeo out.
We're going to get the Ford Mondeo out and take a couple of police chasers.
Nice one. Cheers, mate.
Thank you.
Top man.